The Regina Mundi church is shaped like a triangle. Pope Paul VI consecrated it in 1962 when he was still a cardinal. One of its most striking features is the stained glass Annunciation of Archangel Gabriel telling the Virgin Mary that she would give birth to God's Son, Jesus. Near the altar is Larry Scully's famous painting of the Black Madonna. It was a gift from mining magnate Harry Oppenheimer.
Soweto riots and their aftermath have shocked South Africans, black and white, into hard recognition of their country's complex race relations.
Regina Mundi rose to prominence during the 1976 Soweto student uprising against Bantu education and Afrikaans. Johannesburg Archbishop Patrick Fitzgerald refused to close its doors when all hell broke out between the students and the apartheid police. ANC Member of Parliament Dan Montsitsi was a student leader.
They set off the dog to attack us. It was actually stabbed and thrown in the feet of the police, and the police were quite angry. They started with tear gas, then they followed with guns. Then 1,000 stones started raining. That is how violence started. There was no stopping it.
The police opened fire in the church on students and residents seeking refuge. The corner of the grey marble altar was broken with the rifle butt. The statue of Jesus at the back of the church doesn't have hands. There are still some bullet holes in the ceiling and walls. Inevitably, Regina Mundi buried thousands of anti-apartheid activists and innocent bystanders. When the apartheid government banned outdoor political meetings, the church hosted many of them in the guise of worship and prayer. The holy place became known as the Soweto Parliament. That's where many, like ANC parliamentarian Aubrey Mokoena, cut their political teeth.
Hold it there. God Almighty, we are thinking of our brothers and sisters who are in exile, trying to find a solution to bring down this racist apartheid regime. Give them courage, give them strength, because we know that one day they will come.
Many interdenominational and multilingual prayer services for peace in violence-torn South Africa were held at Regina Mundi. But the church started falling into disrepair in the mid-1990s. Sipho Mota spearheaded a campaign to save Regina Mundi, especially its leaking roof.
It's really raining when you're in church. You might even need an umbrella whilst you're right in church when it's raining.
President Nelson Mandela was one of many South Africans who came to the church's rescue by fundraising for its renovation. He regarded Regina Mundi as a worldwide symbol of South Africans' determination to free themselves.
Such was the role of this church in the lives of many of us. Such was the esteem with which it was held, that it popularly became known as the People's Cathedral. This role took its toll on the church building. It was ravaged and devastated, but today it is undergoing a proud rebirth.
In July 1996, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission held its first partial event hearing into the 1976 student uprising at Regina Mundi.
I would like to ask Father Remy, the resident priest of Regina Mundi, to invoke a special blessing on the witnesses today.
We ask, Father, send your angel to look after them.
Former Soweto student leader Murphy Morobe told the Truth Commission that the church should be declared a national monument.
If these walls could tell stories, they could tell a lot of stories of things that the police did right inside this church. Regina Mundi is a symbol. We must give it the status that I think it deserves.
Despite recent calls by ZAPU, the PAC and SOPA, Regina Mundi is still not a national heritage site. Liban Mabasa is SOPA's president.
There is no site that is more associated with the liberation struggle than Regina Mundi. And we think it will be befitting for people of this country to see the church that was very brave, that was a beacon of hope, being declared a heritage site.
About 200 people visit Regina Mundi every day. Prominent African-American pilgrims have included Martin Luther King Jr.'s widow, Coretta, and Reverend Jesse Jackson.
I stand here today where I stood in 1979 in the heat of apartheid, the crime against humanity, and now the transition from tragedy to triumph.
Jesse Jackson was accompanying American President Bill Clinton and his wife Hillary in 1998 when Regina Mundi made international headlines. Parish priest Mohlomi Makubane based his sermon on adultery in the wake of allegations against Clinton of what he later called an inappropriate relationship with former White House intern Monica Lewinsky.
The scribes and Pharisees brought a woman along who had been caught committing adultery.
Catholics worldwide were furious after the Clintons had received Holy Communion from Father Mohlomi in violation of church doctrine. But Bill Clinton appeared unfazed when he thanked the parishioners for welcoming him and his delegation.
I am profoundly honored to be in this great house of God, which is also a great shrine of freedom.
May the saints of God welcome you. May the angel bring you to the throne of God.
In 2004, Aartsville Corp Dutch Reformed Church minister Andre Bartlett moved many mourners at Regina Mundi to tears. He apologized for the suffering that the apartheid government had inflicted on black South Africans and white people such as Afrikaans anti-apartheid cleric Dr. Beyers Naudé.
And in 1994, our General Synod officially apologized to Beyers Naudé and others like him who had the courage to raise prophetic voices of protest. But I guess it has never been said at a place like this, where it needs to be said. We were wrong.
In June last year, American First Lady Michelle Obama described Regina Mundi as a sacred space that had stood several times in the cross-currents of history.
You may think that all of the great moral struggles have already been won. There are still so many causes worth sacrificing for. Don't ever underestimate the impact you can have, because history has shown us that courage can be contagious.
48-year-old Father Benedict Mahlangu has been Regina Mundi's parish priest since 2009. He says its Golden Jubilee celebration this weekend will be a Thanksgiving service and also an opportunity to pray for more courage to tackle current challenges.
We have so many people who are poor that we try our best every Thursday we have a meal for them. We are trying to engage a lot on our young people, to be involved in the church, to be involved in education. So we see Regina Mundi trying to build the future of our young people.
If this beacon of hope can truly help the poor and guide young people like it did in the past, these children could be as free as the bird about which they're singing. I'm Angie Kaplianis in Johannesburg.